Alright, buckle up because I have a real good feeling this review is going to degrade into a full on rant at some point. And let me go ahead and say Hard Eyes is not a bad movie. I will go ahead and tell you right now 3 out of 5. So, why am I so miffed? Why am I so let down? And it's because when I saw that trailer and I saw shots like this, and I was like, wow, that just pops. And it just looks so good. Look at this chase scene. This is going to be stellar. And then I saw kills like this, and I was like, whoa, that is different. That is inventive. Never seen anything quite like that. We're really going for it. And this killer with like the really popping red eyes that glow in the dark, that's a cool design. Art the Clown, guess what? You may have company in the pantheon of new horror icons. Hard Eyes looks like he could be a slasher icon. I can't wait for this. This looks like everything I love as a big slasher fan. That's what I thought seeing those trailers. I was so hyped. I expect this to be like a top 5 horror movie of 2025 for me. And man, was I not properly calibrated for what this movie is. So let me go ahead and set your expectations accordingly. Hard Eyes is not a straightforward, mean, gruesome, vicious, scary movie about a slasher named Hard Eyes. It is 1/3 rom-com. It is 1/3 slasher. And it's 1/3 take the piss out of rom-coms and slashers meta comedy. And boy, is that just not what I was expecting. I was expecting something more along the lines of the like original My Bloody Valentine, and instead I just got something closer to Valentine. So before we get into everything that really did just kneecap my entertainment here, let me go ahead and applaud the cast because Olivia Holt is very good as the main girl, as the protagonist in this. I don't think the script necessarily does her a ton of favors with her personality or her background or anything like that, but still, she handles it to great aplomb and she manages to be likable anyway, and you still kind of root for her in her interest in Mason Gooding's character. And Mason Gooding, real round of applause goes out to him because I gotta be completely honest, at the risk of sounding like a hater, anytime I have seen him in an interview or doing anything outside of a movie, I've been like, I don't know that me and this guy would mesh. I don't think I like this guy. I don't think I'd want to hang out with this Mason Gooding guy. But all of his characters, Scream 5, Scream 6, Hard Eyes, all of them to me possess real magnetism and charisma, and this is no different. He really showed that he can be the top billed guy in any given movie. It can be an action movie, a rom-com, or a horror movie, and I'd be like, you know what, Mason Gooding's in it, I bet he's going to kill it. And then on top of that, you just have really fun side characters. You have detectives in here that are just really kind of crazy in their own right, with Devon Sawa portraying one and Jordana Brewster portraying the other. Sawa is like a walking sexual harassment suit who definitely subscribes to the manosphere. And then Jordana Brewster's character is the type of detective to be knelt down in the entrails of a victim at a crime scene while looking at her phone and replying to Tinder matches. So there is like inherent fun in different aspects of this movie. And if you love rom-coms, you will pick up on a lot of different references and allusions. Some of them subtle, most of them not. I am so freaking serious here. You will not believe the tropiness of this movie. And that's one of the first big gripes, is they do all the things, but they do it tongue-in-cheek, and they do it with this smugness, this kind of like, look how smart we are, this real kind of know-it-all flair, and they do it for both horror and for rom-coms. And so you get the big poppy needle drops of rom-coms, you get a meet cute over the same coffee order, you get the kind of slapstick comedy where they're just so like shy and awkward around each other, they keep butting heads and blooding each other's nose and things like that. You get a shopping montage, you get the big attitude personality character who's the friend to the main girl who just pops off and gives her all sorts of crazy advice. And then like I said, you get all sorts of non-stop allusions to beloved classic chick flicks. And then, just in case you're a bit dim-witted, by the very end, they just go, you know what, in case you missed it, let's just start name-dropping a bunch of them. And so that one side character is just like, you know, girl, Notting Hill, Love Actually, yada, yada, yada. And it just hamstrings everything. If they had just made this a properly portioned, properly paced alchemy of rom-com and slasher, maybe it would have been inventive and it would have worked. But the pacing is just all over the place. At times it feels like it's like high octane in your face. All right, cool, we're having practical effects. We're going to throw blood everywhere. This killer is going to be great. And then for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you'll be like, this is still Hard Eyes, right? Where'd he go? Can he pop up? This is only around Valentine's Day, right? Aren't we kind of running out of time? Doesn't he got to get back into the fray of things? And then he finally will, and they will just suck all of the tension and mood out of the moment by being like, but still, these characters are rom-com characters. They're our little stand-ins for Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. Yes, they are. And so you get moments where people don't act like people. Everything in the movie feels so heightened and false. No one acts like a normal human being. And in a much worse case than you get from like just normal horror movies where you go, well, that was kind of a dumb decision, but they're running for their life. I guess I understand. Or a rom-com where you go, oh, well, you know, he was just nervous. He's not good with women, so he did this. You get a mix of those things, and it's just a double dose of stupid. So you get stuff like a woman fearing for her life and actually finding a good place to hide, getting a call on her phone from the killer who's using her boyfriend's phone, and she answers the phone and starts berating him over the phone and yelling. Just a second ago, she was so scared that she thought to seek out a good hiding place, and now she is just going to be girl boss and give away her location right away. And in another moment, a couple is attacked by the killer and they're able to block him into another room and to kind of block the door off. And then do they run? Do they leave? No, they rest their heads against the door with the killer on the other side and just start quipping and exchanging cutesy flirtations. And they almost get stabbed in the back of the skull for their stupidity, and they probably should have been. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about here, to where big pop number needle drops, incorrect pacing, weird kind of character motivations at times, inability to properly handle the Scream-like mystery of who the Hard Eyes killer is. It just hamstrings everything to where there is no fear, there is no fright, there is no terror. By the end of the movie, Hard Eyes feels like a joke even, and then they get to the third act and they really go Scream on it, but not good Scream. Not Scream from 1996, like Scream 6 ending. And I think most of us, even the people who really love Scream 6, can agree that the ending of Scream 6 was extremely campy, extremely over the top, and just really dumb, and might have made you take a half star or star off your rating of the movie. That's this one. And the thing that pissed me off the most really is just the smugness of not being willing to just go out and make a straightforward horror movie. They act like it's below them, and this is becoming kind of a recurring thing, I feel like, with modern horror filmmakers. They all feel like they have to be put into the box of trying to recreate what Ari Aster did with Hereditary, and so we get these sad fad movies that have to be just dreadfully dreary, about addiction, about grief, about depression, about loss, just really meditations on all the most bleak stuff of life. And that is fine, but there's just been so much of it lately that sometimes you just want something that's straightforward and fun. And so enter slasher movies, right? No, because this slasher movie has to take the piss out of slasher movies, and it has to let you know that it's seen slasher movies. So here, this little moment, You've seen that, right? Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Anybody catch the reference? How about this one? Boom! Camera work from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the remake. Oh, what about this kill? Friday the 13th, Part 3. Am I right? Am I right? And of course, a whole heaping dose of Scream. Oh my goodness, doesn't everybody love Scream? We're as smart as Scream. No, you're not. Do your own fucking thing, you wanna be. Scream came out in 1996, and it was groundbreaking at that time for the way that it skewered horror tropes, cliches, and subverted audience expectations and let them know that the movie and the filmmakers were in on the conversations we were having while watching Scream, and that these characters were having. Now it's been like 30 years almost. Do something different. Do something new. You want to make a horror killer? You want to make a horror icon? You want to make a horror movie? Then make a horror movie. And just own it. Just freaking own it. Just go for it. Throw some blood on the walls. Chase folks. Pound the scary music that gets the chills going down your spine and gets your heart racing as you go, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And just do that. Don't constantly wink, nudge, poke, and prod the audience. Go, you see what we're doing? You know what we're doing? It's that time of the movie where we do the thing, and we're going to do the thing. But like, don't worry, we're not like schlocky filmmakers. We totally get the joke. We're in on it with you guys. And I'm like, you're not in on it with me. Do you know how much a ticket costs nowadays? Do you know, have you seen this economy? Do you see the uncertainty around this job market? People aren't going to the movies like they used to. So if someone's going to go to it and they're going to give your movie their money, well then by God, do some fun, fresh shit and do something that's actually your own. I am so sick of horror movies just throwing out homage after reference after allusion. Yes, I watch a lot of horror movies. Yes, I've seen all those things before. And guess what? It's available for free in my physical media stack or on streaming right now. So why do I want to pay money to go to theater and see you just rehash and recycle the crap that I already know and love? I'm looking to love something new this Valentine's Day. It was supposed to be you, Hard Eyes, but you just couldn't deliver because you couldn't figure out what you wanted to do. And then when you did do it, you were too smug and obnoxious for your own good, if you ask me. You couldn't pace the movie. You couldn't find a way to make the alchemy work. And then your third act was just cheesy and eye-rolling. You took a killer that had a cool kind of like collector-like design. You gave him a weapon that felt like the hybrid of Jason Voorhees' machete and Ghostface buck knife. And then you just did a bunch of kind of derivative stuff with long stretches between that had nothing to do with horror, and it just didn't quite work for me. So it is a 3 out of 5, and it is a movie that I think a lot of people probably will really like, and they really will love. And I will say that I liked it more than I disliked it, of course. It's just I thought this was going to be like a new horror icon. I thought this was going to be a top 5 horror movie of 2025, and this is not going to make my top 10. I already know that much because I've already seen at least 2 or 3 horror movies this year that are better than this one. I really think encapsulated perfectly at the beginning. This movie is much more just Valentine than it is My Bloody Valentine. So those are my thoughts on Hard Eyes, as unfortunate as it is. I'm sure a lot of you really vehemently disagree. Go ahead and let me hear about it down in the comments. But if you enjoyed the review, you can understand my argument, or you at least like the way I delivered the argument, then please go ahead and support a small content creator. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll continue to review, rank, and talk horror in the year to come. And have yourself a great day. I'm Nate for Natemare Flix saying that's a wrap.